As we welcome you to TV Cogeco's broadcast of the Chatham-Kent Cougars Football Club through the 2013 season. My name is Mike Renier along with Mike James, the Ontario Football Conference. Today it is the home opener for the senior varsities as they take their 0-1 record against the Brantford squad here today, and they want to bounce back on home turf today, Michael.
They certainly do. You mentioned 0-1. Both teams without a win in their opening weekend, last weekend of action. Both teams suffering lopsided losses, so obviously the theme from both head coaches before this game, hopefully that was a bit of a wake-up call last weekend, and we're going to call this a bounce-back game.
Brantford Bisons will get the football to kick off this game, and the ball is up in the air, and we are underway under the lights here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex, grabbed around the 25-yard line, and a big hit close to the 35, so fairly decent opening position offensively for the Bisons as they start off here.
Good coverage there from the Cougars. It was Zach Gettebur, number 30, with the tackle, along with the help of some of his friends. And the Cougars defense going to look to bounce back from that loss last weekend, 45-14 loss to Hamilton. I can tell you the Cougars pretty stout up the middle of that defensive line. I understand, though, they had some issues on the edges last weekend against Hamilton, so the defensive end's going to have to make sure they don't cheat on the edges and have some good contain.
Jesse Dam, the quarterback for the Bisons, under center. And Dam takes the snap. He elects to hand it off to the running back, cuts off to the left, and trying to find some open room. Brought down as Greg Roberts got the carry. And he didn't make it actually to the line of scrimmage. That's about a loss of 1.5 yards. So good stuff by the Chatham-Kent Cougars on the first play of the game.
Nice tackle there from Carter Wood, number 26 for the Cougars. The linebacker scrapes down along the edge and makes the tackle. Good solid tackle. He had some help from the corner on that side as well.
2nd and 11 for the Bisons. Dam once again handing it off to Roberts, but before that play developed, a flag gets thrown onto the field, and it looks like we're going to be backed up at least 5 yards. This one against Brantford. Procedure call as Austin Stoffelson, the offending Bison player. 2nd and 16. Dam once again dropping back to pass, trying to find the open receiver, and actually underthrown as David Adenrian Jr. had to cut back. And an incomplete pass, bringing up a favorable 3rd and 16 for the Cougars defense, and special teams coming on the field now.
Good job there from Cam LeBute, number 7. He was all over that coverage. No chance for a catch there. As you mentioned, that pass not on target there, Mike, and LeBute was all over it as well. So had it been a good throw, it would have been a tough play to make for the wide receiver.
Minute and a half into this football game. Good stop by the Cougars defense on the first series. And the Brantford football squad having to punt, and that one will not make midfield. And the Cougars go back on the offensive on the first time here tonight. Shutting down the Bisons offense. 3 and out. And they will actually have the football for the first time tonight in Brantford territory.
Well, the Cougars with some good field position off of that poor punt from Brantford. The net yardage on that kick was under 15 yards. So a nice start here for the Cougars when it comes to field position in that offense.
In the shotgun. Dropping back to pass, going to the air the very first go around, and it's a completed pass to the end zone, touchdown. Goldani finds Ben Bartlett streaking down the near sideline, and Bartlett was able to catch up to it, and no one in front of him. A Cougar touchdown, one play, and a 6-0 lead.
And a 50-yard touchdown reception, and man, there was some blown coverage on that right side. Not sure who the corner was over there, and no help from the safety either. Just running free was the receiver for the Cougars, Bartlett, and perfect throw by Galdoni. Put it right in his hands, didn't even have to break stride, and strolls into the end zone. Nice job by Bartlett to maintain his footing. Looked like he might go down around the 15-yard line, but managed to regroup and get in for the easy score.
For the extra point, Cougars wasting no time getting the football. One play and a major score as they are on top of the Brantford Bisons in this home opener for the varsity squad for the Chatham-Kent Cougars, trying to knot up their record at 1-1, and they have the early lead. So efficiency is the name of the game after just one play on the offensive side of the football in this game. 7-0 they lead.
Well, certainly making it easy on the, as you mentioned, on the first play of the game for the Cougars, not taking them long to hit their stride there. And a nice way to start. Certainly the Cougar squad have got to be feeling good about themselves right now. You want to talk about bounce back. That feels pretty good. Makes you forget that loss in Hamilton real quick.
Good job by the defense holding the Bisons to a 2-and-out. An immediate punt. One play, one touchdown. As Mike mentioned, 50 yards to pay dirt. And we've only played a minute 57 of this game. Cougars with a great kick. Lots of air underneath that one. Grabbed deep in Bison's territory. And this one brought to around the 25-yard line. And Brantford will have their second touch of the football. Second series in fairly deep Bison territory.
Carter Wood, the linebacker for the Cougars, number 26 with the tackle there for Chatham-Kent. Great job on coverage. Brantford having to start inside their own 30. And speaking with Jim Jevons, the head coach of Brantford, he says they like to go hurry-up offense, and they'll pass about 60% of the time. So we'll see a lot of balls in the air here today from Brantford's offense.
Here's Jesse Dam electing to keep it on the ground this time and try to find a hole in the middle there. Was the running back. Getting another touch was Roberts. And he barely gets to the line of scrimmage, so a very, very minimal gain on 1st and 10 for the Bisons.
Nice penetration there from number 33, Carter Claridge for the Cougars. 6'2", 205, the linebacker. He gets some pressure in the backfield to slow up the momentum and then get some help from the rest of the defense to make that tackle for a loss.
Rush defense doing a great job very early on for the Cougars. Now the quarterback elects to keep the football, now flips it off to the running back just in time. Still on his feet before crossing the 35. Oh, it's Greg Roberts. And we'll see where they mark this one. Looks like it could very well be short of the first down. There's actually a penalty marker on the field.
Yeah, that one came in late, right at the end. Be interested to see what the call is here. Breaking down that play, you mentioned Jesse Dam, the quarterback, running the football, and then with the lateral pitch right at the end, they're saying it's a face mask. So that one going against the Cougars, they're going to mark that one off. And so they're going to tack on some yardage at the end of that one for the face mask penalty, and that'll give them a first down for Brantford. And as you can see, the offense hurrying up to here to the line of scrimmage. So the Cougars defense is going to have to be sharp when Brantford goes to that hurry-up offense.
50-yard line of Brantford, and the Bisons have the football after that penalty, 1st and 10. Dam back to pass, and coming into the play late to grab that one, number 82, Ryan McDonald, bringing that one down, and a big tall frame there for McDonald as he rushes into the play to grab that one, and not a lot was gained on that play, maybe half a yard.
No, nice tackle there by Cam LeBute. A sure tackle. He goes low. If you don't have your legs, you're not going to get very far, and that's exactly what LeBute did there. Took the legs out from under the receiver, and no yardage after the catch.
Despite going to the air. Dam back to pass again, and it is brought down. Is it intercepted, or is it an incomplete pass?
I think that was picked off from the vantage point up here, Mike. Interesting to see. Yep, referee's going to confirm that. That's a beautiful play there from the Cougars. Mitch Anderson, the safety. came in right at the same time as the ball arrived into the hands of the receiver and ripped it away from him as they were on their way to the ground. And the referees with a sharp eye catching that one and giving Cougars their first turnover of the game here.
Dam into tough coverage. Cougars picking it off. And so everything's going their way in the first 4 minutes of this football game in their home opener. Already up 7-0. And this is only their second offensive play of the football game. They win 50 yards in the air the last time they had the football. Now they fake to the air, leave it on the ground. And the football comes past midfield to around the 54-yard line of Brantford. 7-yard pickup on the ground for the Cougars. So one passing play, one running play. Things looking pretty good very early on for Chatham-Kent.
That's a beautiful job by the interior of that offensive line for the Cougars. The running back gets about 5 yards into the defense before he's even touched. That's a good sign from that offensive line right off the bat. If you're a running back and you don't get touched for about 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, you got to be feeling good.
You're going to have a big day. Cougars talking this one over in the huddle. 2nd down and 3 to go. And a 7-0 lead for Chatham-Kent. Alex Scaldani in the shotgun. Quarterback takes the snap, looks to go to the air, and the pass is caught. Now fighting for first down yardage, almost getting there. We'll see how they mark this one, but it's brought down by Gabe Gagne, and it looks like they are moving the chains. It's a first down for the Cougars.
That's a nice job there by the quarterback and the receiver. Perfect timing. Again, able to catch that ball in stride. And that just makes it so much easier to get those yards after the catch. You don't have to slow down. You can maintain that momentum. And picking up about 7 yards and enough for the first down, as you mentioned there, Mike. Nice job by both the quarterback and the receiver.
Galdani back to pass once again. Goes to his left. Brought down by the Cougars. A reception and lots of yards after the catch as that one was wrapped up. Marcus Shad, the reception. And Shad able to find some room. Pretty good speed and a lot of yards after the catch. The chains immediately moved. So another first down for the Cougars.
And a nice job there by Ben Bartlett, the receiver on the far side, getting out in front of his fellow receiver, getting a block there and getting enough of one of the defenders to give his fellow receivers some room to get the first down.
37-yard line of Brantford. Cougars on the move once again offensively with a 7-point lead. They keep it on the ground this time and a lot of room to move along that far side as Jack Brimmer. The carry and some positive yardage again for the Cougars. And once again, that is just enough to move the chains.
Nice run there from Brimmer, Mike, as you mentioned. Big chunk of yardage there. They're gaining yards hand over fist so far here early on. The Cougars offense, they like to throw the ball. They say they pass the ball about 70% of the time, but the way that we're seeing them have success on the ground here, they might change that up here.
Galdani drops back, fakes the pass, and he gave it to the running back, who ran it right up the gut once again, and Cougars just methodically going down the field.
Well, they're just getting a great push up front. Again, they're just moving the pile, pushing Brantford backwards, and they're winning that line of scrimmage battle so far. And as the offensive coordinator, Brett Thompson's got to be feeling good about his ground game so far. Again, when you win that battle at the line of scrimmage and you're able to push the other team off the ball, you're going to have success on the ground running it, and you're able to mix up your offense a little bit more. You're less predictable.
7 yards on the ground on first down, now 2nd and 3. And the play whistled down before Galdani gets the pass away.
Yeah, we've got a flag on the ground over here. I imagine it was a pre-snap flag.
And they're moving in the other direction, so this one will be against Chatham-Kent. Second down repeated. Ball goes back to the 25-yard line, so 2nd down and 8 now for the Cougars. Looking very comfortable on both sides of the football is Chatham-Kent. Some big stops defensively, including a turnover that last go-around. The interception. And looking pretty good in this drive. 2nd and 8, big play here for Galdani. Pass is complete along that far sideline, trying to get first down yardage. And another completed pass for the Cougars.
Nice little swing pass out there to Max Fantus, the tight end, number 81. And they're moving the sticks there, Mike, so you're right. They were close, and they did get enough for the first down. And a nice job. Again, that's about the third pass in a row now where we've seen the quarterback, Galdoni, hit the receiver in stride and allowing the tight end, Fantus, to gain enough for the first down.
Ball on the 11. Another chance along the air. That one goes just above the outstretched arms of Marcus Shad as Galdani threw that one just a few inches too high. So 2nd and 10 now for Chatham-Kent.
Yeah, the ball's on the 11-yard line, so the Cougars can get a first down here without scoring a touchdown. Certainly well within field goal range.
Just over 6.5 to play in this first quarter. Home opener for the Varsity Cougars. Looking for their first win of the season. Now scrolling to his right, looking to the end zone. And was it a reception? That was pretty close. We'll see if he hauled it in before the football hit the ground. Looks like it is a reception for 15 Mayu. Stuan Mayu went low to the ground. Looked like he was able to cradle it before it hit the ground.
Not sure what the referees are discussing here. The one referee has it marked as a catch, and they have confirmed it now, and it is a first down. And as we mentioned, they didn't have to score there, and they could still get the first down, and they've done exactly that. The ball's on the 1-yard line.
And they had about 1.5 yards to work with between the first down and the goal line, and they're right in the middle of that right now. 1st and goal from the 1 for the Cougars, looking for their second major of the game. Galdani with the snap. He keeps it on the ground, trying to punch it in. Touchdown, Cougars. Brandon Van Zelst, I believe, able to punch that one in, but a rushing touchdown for the Cougars. And they've opened up a 13-0 lead.
Actually, I think it was Max Fantus, the lead man, that got the football there. 85. And powered it in over that right side. Just put his head down, used his size and strength, and powered his way over that line of scrimmage for the touchdown.
And a botched snap as it goes over the head, and now a broken play for the Cougars. Now trying to run in for extra points and just pushed out of bounds about 2 yards shy of the goal line. So the botched snap will leave that play at 6 points for the Cougars, and they'll walk away with a 13-0 lead.
Yeah, that snap was high. Ben Bartlett able to scoop it up, nearly scored on that broken play. Showing some nice speed to try and gain the edge, just couldn't get there. But so far this Cougars offense looking really, really strong, and looks like Brantford's going to have their hands full so far.
2 possessions for Chatham-Kent, 2 touchdowns. Just shy of 10 minutes into this first quarter.
A little bit of an ominous-looking sky in the distance.
Showers and thunderstorms in the area throughout the afternoon. So far, we've been untouched here in Chatham-Kent. See if we can get this football game in without a delay.
Got some boisterous fans here today.
But they have clear instructions for the players. Bit of a delay in the kickoff here. Max Fantus rushing touchdown, a 1-yard punch in. And before that, a 50-yard passing play. Galdani throwing it down the field to open up the scoring for the Cougars. As we're now ready for the kickoff. Another great kick by the Cougars. Comes down around the 20-yard line. Picked up by number 82, Ryan McDonald. As he crosses the 30-yard line. Once again, Cougars are there for the stop. And 80 yards ahead of them, the Brantford Bisons, as they have their third offensive possession.
Another nice coverage job there by the Cougars kicking team. A whole host of Cougars getting in to make that tackle. And again, Brantford going to have a long way to go if they want to score on this Cougars defense.
Rush defense have been great so far on the Cougars side of things. In the opening two possessions of the football for Brantford. Cougars also have an interception to their name, too. Here's Dam getting the football, scrambles off to his right, and able to cross the 40-yard line. Or pardon me, cross the 35-yard line, close to first down yardage.
And you can hear him. Sorry about that, Mike.
Just getting up to around the 37.
Yeah, you can hear Brantford talking, hurry up, hurry up. That's the quarterback, Dam, who's telling his offensive line, get on the football. We're going hurry up offense.
2nd and 3, a little juggle on the handoff, but able to get first down yardage, about a 5-yard pickup on the ground for Brantford. And that will be enough for the first down, as they are certainly trying to hit the score sheet before the end of the first quarter. Still plenty of time to play with 4:19 to go in quarter number 1. But after a couple of major scores against them, Bisons want to get back to this football game as quick as they can.
And number 30, Zach Edinburgh, in on that tackle.
Dam going to the air, and the receiver leaping up pretty high into the air to bring that one down, but a minimal pickup as the Cougars defense right there, about 3 of them, stopping the receiver. That was Dillon who brought that one down, and actually a 2-yard loss.
A nice tackle there by Mitch Anderson, the safety on that far side.
2nd and 12, another big chance here for Dam, and almost intercepted once again. 2 Cougars right in the immediate area, and it looks like Thomas Van Ray had the best shot at swiping that one. But it falls incomplete, so once again the Cougars defense comes up big.
You mentioned Van Ray, and then I think it might have tipped off Van Ray's hands and then into the hands of Mitch Anderson, the safety for the Cougars. And that little bit of a tip, I think, kind of threw him off, and he wasn't able to make the interception either. But nice job by the defense. As you mentioned, 2 Cougars had a shot at that interception. It does fall incomplete, but Brantford going to have to huddle up here again.
Cougars tenacious on defense early on here. A big reason why they're up by 13. Down by that many. Replaying 2nd down. Actually, that was going to the ground. And now 3rd and 7 as they're right back to the line of scrimmage. So penalty call against the Cougars had a replay of the 2nd down.
I thought there was something up there. I thought that was supposed to bring up 3rd down, but I saw the sticks and it said 2nd down, so I figured I'd missed something there. But on that last play, Carter Claridge, number 33, again getting into the backfield for the Cougars. That's the 2nd time we've seen him do that with some great penetration. That's a good sign for Chatham-Kent.
Well, now we are at 3rd and 7, and once again, punting it away will be the Bisons. Kick a good one, and now a bit of a drop of the football around the 35-yard line at Chatham-Kent, but it looks like they recover it just fine.
Eric Frappier there with that.
Absolutely, Jamesy, as Frappier brings it down. A little bobble of the football, but no harm, no foul. And the Cougars hitting their 3rd touch offensively. First and 10, 37-yard line for the Cougars back on offense. Dropping back to pass, finding the receiver along the near side. Number 28 for the Chatham-Kent Cougars is Gagne, bringing that one down and close to first down territory. That's mighty close. It looks like it might be a foot and a half short from this vantage point. But I think they're bringing out the sticks.
They want to make sure they give the gentleman on the stick some camera time.
It is a glorious position. At least a 9.5-yard gain for the Cougars, as Gagne getting some big-time yards on 1st and 10.
There's a nice draw up on the offensive plan there. You line up 3 receivers on the right side. You run 2 of them deep, and then you run underneath with a short route. Gagne's the short man. He gets the ball, and a nice healthy pickup, and that's going to be about a football length short of a first down.
Up to the 47-yard line for the Cougars. Just over 2 minutes to play in quarter number 1 as the wind picking up ever so slightly.
I just want to make sure I mentioned our stick people, because as we know, to make these games happen, you have to have a lot of volunteers, all the people from the front entranceway to the raffles and the barbecues, and obviously the people with the sticks as well. So thank you very much.
Yep, to the Chatham-Kent Cougars and league-wide in the OFC. Second and about half a yard for the Cougars. Alex Galdani over center once again, and he keeps a football and bursts right through the middle. Galdani keeps it himself and gets all the way past midfield. So he gets close to 10 yards himself as he just bursts right through. First down, Cougars.
Wow, unbelievably untouched. It was the safety that actually had to come up and make that touchdown-saving tackle. He got through the entire defensive line and linebacking crew, and if it weren't for number 33 for Brantford, Galdani would have been gone.
Less than 90 seconds to play. Ball past midfield for the Cougars. 1st and 10, rolling to his left, looking for an open receiver is Galdani, and brought in past the 40-yard line, hauled in Ben Bartlett with another big reception as he rolls out of bounds. The bench of Brantford. So again, the offense really clicking here for the Cougars.
Well, Galdani's looking very sharp in this first quarter so far. That time, not an easy play. Rolling to his left as a right-handed quarterback, that's not easy because when you release that ball, you actually have to throw the ball across your body. But Galdani makes an accurate throw. Bartlett makes the reception. And first down yardage and more for the Cougars as they keep the sticks moving.
35-yard line. Less than 1 minute to play in quarter number 1. Here's Galdani again, some pressure as he is able to find his receiver once again. Bartlett crossing the 30-yard line. Sorry, that's Gabe Gagne, pardon me, as Gagne brings it down. Getting past the 30. About halfway to a first down as the raindrops are now falling moderately onto the field here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. So some umbrellas going up and some unumbrelled people heading for shelter as a shower passing through. Let's hope it's just a shower and nothing more than that. Galdani hands it off to the running back and right up the middle, getting close to the 25-yard line. That's going to be close to a first down. As the first quarter almost to an end here. I believe they're about a yard shy of the first down, so this is going to be a little decision time here, 3rd and 1.
Nice run there by Jack Brimmer. And again, we're seeing that Cougars offensive line get a nice push. That time, especially on that right side, Brandon Van Zelt's leading the way and clearing a path. And there were about 6 or 7 in that pile, and they just kept pushing it backwards.
Final play of the first quarter, and a big one here offensively for the Cougars, trying to push the chains. 3rd and 1. And making it look easy, still on his feet, pushing his way all the way close to the 10-yard line. Now a flag comes down. What a Great effort there. Max Fantus using that big body to push his way deep into Brantford territory in the final play of the first quarter, and a good job here by the Cougars, but a flag is down.
And we've got a player down as well for Brantford. Can't get a number there. Boy, you mentioned Fantus using that big body. Ran through a couple of arm tackles and then ran over a Brantford defender. They only needed a yard, and we'll see what the penalty flag brings, but that was over 10 yards on that carry for Fantus. And I'm going to imagine that's going to be a penalty against the defense. It looked like it came late as they were trying to bring Fantus to the ground, so you might see a face mask maybe at the end of that.
Injured Bison player still down. Sorry, Michael.
I'm just going to say the wind kicking up here, and not sure if I heard some thunder in the distance there. But if we do have thunder or lightning, they will blow the whistle, and that'll delay this game.
Safety of the players, first and foremost here, the Ontario Football Conference. As back, exiting the field under his own power, number 68 for Brantford, Sam DeKoning, defensive lineman. As the first quarter coming to an end here. Almost a touchdown for Fantus, 1 yard shy, first and goal from the 1. Galdani once again under center. Electing to head it off, and it is an easy touchdown. Is rumbling off to his left, and getting paid dirt is Max Fantus. Second TD of the evening. Third overall for the Cougars as they open up their lead even further.
That's Fantus' second touchdown on a 1 yard run. And obviously that penalty was going against Brantford there at the end. And Fantus, the left side of that offensive line, just completely collapsed the right side of the Brantford's defensive line. And Fantus just strolls into the end zone.
And looking for extra points after that touchdown. It does not work. So a 19-0 lead for the Cougars, the varsity squad in their home opener, and it is shaping up to be a very positive one for the boys as they've opened up a 19-0 lead starting the second quarter. And still keeping an eye to the skies. Hopefully the shower remains just that, a shower.
Well, it's the second consecutive time there where we've seen a tough snap to the holder. That one was certainly wide right of the holder, who is Cam LeBute, and they can't get it down in time, and Ben Bartlett just dives on it and covers it up. So something for the Cougars to work on there, the snap, hold, and kick on the extra point tries.
That's the only thing offensively and defensively that has been less than perfect for the Cougars in this football game. Everything else is working just fine, and if the defense keeps up the way they've kept up in the first quarter, this will be an okay game for them.
Yeah, it certainly would be. Okay game, certainly an understatement, especially after.
Like to be modest, you know. Don't want to overstate it.
No, you're right. You certainly don't want to do that. And again, we mentioned this was a bounce back game for both of these squads. Both of them suffering tough losses last weekend. They both suffered lopsided losses, if you will. So both teams were looking to bounce back, and the Cougars, well, favorably had a home game for their bounce back game. So it's nice for the Cougars to come back home. Also nice that, again, we mentioned it during our broadcast of Pee Wee football last weekend, playing under the lights, which is a lot of fun as a football player. You really feel like you're big time when you play under the lights. A great experience, a lot of fun, and why not take advantage of that? Also, in the hot summers, it's great when you can play that night game, not quite as hot and humid, especially as we know down here in southwestern Ontario.
Once you get into the late June, July games, that certainly plays a factor too. As the Cougars kick off, again, another good kick. Comes down around the 25-yard line. Brantford picking it up. And some good speed there by number 2, Danny Uran Jr. And the Bisons will try again offensively, still kept off the score sheet, down 19-0, 5 seconds into quarter number 2. For Brantford, if they want to get back to this football game, you'd figured this is the most important touch the football they've had so far.
Yeah, it certainly would be. Brantford hasn't had a lot of success so far. It looks like we're going to kick this one off again.
Missed what the decision was on the field with that. Here an offside might be the call there. Ball now on the 40-yard line, gets knocked off the tee by the wind, so a little breezy out there now with a few showers around.
Again, Mike, understating. It's quite windy.
A little breezy. We may lose our papers. We will see. Another solid kick by the Cougars. Comes down again around the 30-yard line. And brought down around the 34. As that was James McQueen on the return.
Good tackle there from Cam LeBute for the Cougars, number 7. LeBute's been in on a number of tackles here today on special teams and on defense.
So again, good field position for the Cougars defense, pitting the Brantford boys back fairly deep in their own territory. See if the defense can hold their own once again. Fantastic first quarter, both offensively and defensively for Chatham-Kent, as evidenced by the 19-0 score. Dam handing it off to the running back number 21, quickly tackled. And again, a good job hopping on it quickly, defense for the Cougars.
Nice tackle there by Eric DeMars, number 34, meeting that running back right in the hole, takes him down right away. As soon as contact made, brings him right to the ground. So a good job there, no yards after contact.
Roberts not able to get too much so far in this football game, now throwing it away. Under a lot of pressure, brought down by number 71, Ryland Ward, and a flag is down on the field. This one might be going against Chatham-Kent.
I think it is. Number 71 with the pressure there for the Cougars was Cameron Ryland Ward, the big defensive tackle, and he was applying the pressure on Dam. Dam able to throw it away out of bounds just as Ryland Ward was going to bring him down to the ground, and they're going to call it roughing the passer there, but some might not agree with that call. It looked almost like Ryland Ward had him in his grasp when the ball was thrown away, but the referee not agreeing.
Ball's brought up all the way to the 53-yard line of Brantford, very close to midfield, 1st and 10. Shotgun Dam faking it, keeping the football himself in a whole lot of pressure, and Dam brought down 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage, so a loss. And again, that tenacious defense for the Cougars showing their teeth early on in this football game.
And again, it's number 33, Carter Claridge, getting the pressure in the backfield. Wasn't able to make the tackle, but certainly slowed Dam up enough that the rest of that defense able to make the tackle. DeMars in on that one. Eric DeMars, who we saw in the previous play, make a nice tackle as well. Or excuse me, 2 plays previously. So a nice job by this Cougars defense. Really, the only blemish was that penalty that we just saw in the last play where it gave Brantford some free yardage and decent field position.
2nd and 11. It's now all of a sudden gloomy Saturday night. Really glad you found some time for us tonight. TV Coach Go, Mike Renier, Mike James, Jeff Brooks on the camera, keeping dry behind an umbrella. He was thinking.
Smart man,
He
Jeff
was
Brooks.
Listening to the weather forecast. Came prepared. A moderate breeze continuing here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. This home opener for the Cougars and the varsity squad. Losing last week on the road in Hamilton, trying to knot up their record at 1-1, and they are looking good so far through 16.5 minutes of football. So still very young into this football game, 13:28 to go in quarter number 2. Trying to keep the football dry. I'm sure footing and the wetness of the football is going to become a pretty big issue here, if it hasn't already. And keeping the football actually under center that time around. Jesse, and a couple of flags, 2 flags at least on the field now around midfield.
Simultaneously, almost synchronized. The flags coming from both sides of the line of scrimmage, so obviously the referee's seeing the same thing there. Interesting lineup there for Brantford. They had 4 running backs lined up in an I formation, and then Dam keeps the football. So essentially 4 fullbacks, if you will. And a nice job by the Cougars defending that one, collapsing the middle of that defensive line and allowing minimal yardage, obviously pending the flags on this one here. And Mike, you mentioned astutely the wet football obviously could play a factor here. Both teams admit they like to throw the ball more than they run it. Mm-hmm. So that could play a factor here. We might see more of a run game. Also the wind, as you mentioned, picking up here this evening. That's going to play a factor as well. Brantford right now, it's almost a cross-field wind, but it is favoring a little bit at this point Brantford. The wind at their backs a little bit, so we'll see how much that has an impact on the passing game.
With the dust settles, 2nd and 7, midfield football. Big play here for Brantford. Down by 19 as they hand off the football, keeping it on the ground. Some room to move. This will be a first down for Brantford all the way to the 40-yard line to Chatham-Kent. And a good burst of speed. Keeping it on the ground. Greg Robertson, his real first burst with the football on the ground all game long.
And again, we see that I formation with the 4 men in the backfield, and he is the tailback in that I formation with the 4 running backs.
Keeping that hurry-up offense going. Trying to keep the momentum on their side as best they can as they keep it on the ground once again. This time, a lot of interference. Number 2. Danny Rand Jr. getting the call, and a lot less success that time on the run as the Cougars defense doing a good job there.
That was a nice job by Carter Wood, the linebacker, scraping down that right side and getting into the backfield to make the tackle, limiting the yardage on that carry.
Not getting back to the line of scrimmage, dropping about a half yard on that run. So a long second at 11. Now they go to the air, trying to catch up to it along that far sideline, and it falls incomplete. And Danny Rand Jr. couldn't catch up to it as they try to get some huge yardage on the air that time. So 3rd and 11 now coming up for the Brantford Bisons. And special teams once again coming onto the field. So offensively, not much clicking here for Brantford in this first half.
Now the wind will play a factor in this kick. They do have the wind at their back, so the 2 return men that are out there for the Cougars going to have to keep that in mind. Eric Frappier and Chase Beaumont going to have to expect a bigger kick here.
Getting the football at midfield, and along that far sideline, it drifts out. See where they mark it. In the vicinity of the 20-25-yard line of Chatham-Kent. But once again, they have held Brantford off the score sheet all football game long at a 19-point lead.
That's a good kick there from Greg Roberts for Brantford. It pins the Cougars deep in their own end. Looks like they're going to end up with the football at about their own 10-yard line. So he avoids putting the ball in the hands of one of the return men for the Cougars. And it's going to be a long way to go for this Cougars offense if they want to put any points on the board. So Brantford playing the field position game, smart, well-coached decision, and Cougars now going to look to get out from the shadow of their own end zone.
Deepest field position of the entire football game from their own 10, dropping back to pass, and now flag blows this play dead. One presumes a penalty against the Cougars.
Looked like it was Cody Miller that was going to have the carry there. Yeah, and they're marching this one back against Chatham-Kent. You're right, Mike.
So even worse field position. Back to the 5-yard line. 1st and 15, so if you thought they were in the shadows of their goalpost before, they're really, really close now. So long way to go for the Cougars offense. As Galdani hands it off. And did the ball pop out? Did it pop loose?
I don't think so. I know the Brantford squad yelling for that fumble, but clearly you could hear the whistle blow before any ball came loose. Chatham-Kent's going to maintain possession. Not a lot of room on that right side on that play. Good job by the Brantford defense.
But 1.5 yards on the carry, so still a long way to go. 2nd and 13 at the Cougars' 7-yard line. 10.5 to play in the first half. And the snap to Galdani, looking to go to the air. As he scrambles now to his right, lots of room to move, trying to get around that final man, and this will be a huge, huge gain on the ground for the quarterback, Galdani. He gets well past the 30-yard line, and more than enough for that big first down. That was absolutely huge.
Well, the drop back for the pass, he didn't see anything, and when you're deep in your own end, it's not a bad idea if you see a lane to tuck it and run, because if you put that ball in the air, obviously there's a risk there of that ball being picked off. That's a safe play. Tuck it and run. He saw some space, and Galdoni showing that not only does he have a good arm from what we've seen, he can also get out of the pocket and gain some yardage as well.
26-yard line of the Cougars. Once again, they keep it on the ground up the middle. Now this is past the 30-yard line to around the 31. And Cody Miller getting the call that time.
Yep, good job by Miller securing that football with both hands, getting into the middle of that line.
5-yard pickup for Miller. Just trying to methodically move that football, keep the clock moving. 19-point lead for Chatham-Kent in their home opener. Kind of a soggy one here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Inside the 30, they go to the air, wide open receiver up to the 40. Now hitting the 45, close to the 50-yard line. Finally brought out of bounds, but Ben Bartlett, we've called his name a few times. He was largely uncontested once he had the catch. He had a lot of room to move, and Bartlett gets a huge gain.
Yeah, Bartlett with the catch, and Galdoni again puts the ball right on the numbers, and just makes it real easy for the receiver to run after the catch with that football. Exactly what we saw Bartlett do there. And Bartlett, I'm told by the offensive coordinator for the Cougars, Brett Thompson, that he can pretty much do everything. They'll use him in the Wildcat formation. He's actually their backup quarterback, and he's also their kicker from what we've seen as well. So a man of all, jack of all trades.
And a wonderful chef. Back to pass, quarterback Galdani looking for his man and brought down past the 35-yard line, a huge gain. Trying to see who brought that one down. Looks like it was Van Ray that might have had the catch. A beautiful pass from Galdani. Perhaps that was Mayu bringing that one in. But a completed pass and a huge gain as Galdani is certainly having his way with the defense from Brantford. In the shotgun, lots of room to move. Elects to keep it himself. Now hits the line of scrimmage, keeps on moving. As he couldn't find a receiver open. And a bit of positive yardage for the quarterback on the ground.
For that previous play, Mayu, who we believe made the reception, it was hard to tell from this angle, but if it was Mayu, boy, he made a nice catch. But not only that, he was really smart to get down as soon as he put his hands on that football, allowed himself to cradle it on his way to the ground because the safety was coming over full speed, looking to lay him right out. But smart, he could sense the safety coming down on him. He makes the catch on his way down to the ground and avoids taking a big hit and a big gain for the Cougars. That play, I really like what I saw from Galdoni there. He tests the line of scrimmage, runs up to it to see if anybody's going to be on him, doesn't see a lane, checks to see the field again, scans the field for an open receiver, sees nothing, runs out of bounds.
On 2nd and 8, going to the near side and losing his footing was the receiver just before the football came to him. And Gabe Gagne was the intended receiver there.
Well, nice.
Sorry, Michael. Looks like he turned to get the football and just kind of lost his footing on that increasingly wet turf.
Well, that's exactly what you had mentioned earlier, what kind of a factor this rain was going to have on this game. And we saw it right there with Gagne losing his footing. But this has been an impressive drive here from the Cougars so far. If you remember, this drive started back on their own 5-yard line after a penalty. They actually were on their 10, got moved back 5 yards to their 5. And an impressive drive here so far. It looks like the Cougars might be going for it here. Now, the wind we mentioned as a factor, the Cougars going into the wind here.
Already at the 31-yard line of Brantford. I think I heard some coaches on the Brantford side saying, look for the fake.
So maybe going for the field goal here. Oh, excuse me, they're going to lining up to punt this one away.
Again, the wind probably playing a factor into this decision, and a little hesitation there, but they do kick this one away, and it will fall out of bounds in the vicinity of the 10-yard line of Brantford. So going for the field position more than anything else there, the Cougars.
Yeah, they returned the favor. It was Brantford that pinned the Cougars deep in their own zone, and they dug their way out of it. Beautiful offensive drive. Unfortunately, doesn't result in any points, but it does result in pinning Brantford back now deep in their own end, starting with the ball on their own 10-yard line. So tit for tat on that one.
7:33 remaining in the first half, at a 19-0 lead for the Cougars. 1st and 10 offensively here for Brantford on their 10-yard line, as Mike mentioned. And they just have not had that one spark to get the offense going, have the Bisons. First and 10, they go to the air and dropping incomplete. That one intended for 88, Jerry Dillon, as he cut up the middle. 2nd and 10.
Big play here for the Cougars defense. Chance to get the ball in some great field position.
Big play here on both sides of the football. 2nd and 10 from the 10, dropping back to pass, going to the air and underthrown. That one again almost picked off, almost into the hands of Thomas Van Ray, just off of his fingertips. But for the quarterback, Jesse Dam, he didn't get as much on that throw as he wanted to.
Thomas Van Ray getting up, climbing the ladder, getting that ball at its highest point. That's exactly what you like to see from the defensive backs. You want to go up and get that ball as high as you can. And the only problem on that one was Eric Frappier, the safety, was standing right behind him, waiting for that ball to fall down right into his hands. So potential interception miss, but as a defensive back, you don't know that you've got that help right there waiting for the pick. Van Ray does the right thing, gets up, climbs the ladder, knocks that ball down incomplete, and the Cougars here with a chance to get some great field position. Wouldn't be surprised Brantford takes a knee here.
No, they do kick it away, and actually a very, very good kick. That almost comes to midfield, grabbed by the Cougars past the 45-yard line, brought down around the 43, as Eric Frappier able to find a little room to move and bring it safely into Brantford territory. So some good opening field position here on this drive for the Cougars, already up by 19 after a really, really good kick.
Yeah, well done there from Brantford, getting a big boot on that one. And again, the wind at their back there for Brantford, so that certainly helped, and got some nice hang time. Get that ball up in the air, nice and high, let the wind have the maximum amount of impact on it. Certainly did, and the Cougars, though, still decent field position here on the Brantford side of the field. And we've seen this Cougars offense, they can move the football.
Trying to widen their lead before halftime. Still lots of time. Over 6 minutes to play in quarter number 2 at a 19-0 lead for the Cougars. As they keep it on the ground, trying to find a seam along the near side, pushing it up past the 40-yard line around the 39. Wrestled down. Van Ray with the carry for the Cougars.
Nice tough sledding there from Cody Miller, keeping those feet, legs pumping, carrying a would-be tackler with him and forcing Brantford's defense into a gang tackle to bring him down. But a good positive gain on first down, about 4 yards.
3 yards on the ground for Miller. 2nd and 7. Rolling slightly to his right now, finding his open receiver. A lot of room to move. Yards after the catch. First down here for the Cougars, and maybe more. Forced out past the 20-yard line. Lots of room to move. And Ben Bartlett is having a great first half. Grabbing that catch and scampering all the way to the 19-yard line of Brantford. So a big play again offensively for the Cougars right when they needed it.
I like that call too. Galdoni falls back and runs out to his right as if he's going to throw the ball to the right side of the field, then comes back around, and they set up the screen pass to Bartlett. He's got a host of blockers out in front of him. A nice job by the offensive line getting out in front, and a big pickup from Bartlett. Nice job of using those blockers out in front of him.
Galdani again scrambling to his left, trying to find an open receiver, heading towards the end zone. Nobody in the general area, close to the goal line, and it falls incomplete. So 2nd down and 10 coming up from the 19-yard line.
Good decision there from Galdoni. He had nowhere to go with that football. Just throws it out of bounds. Live to see another day. You don't want to turn the football over here deep in Brantford territory. So you give yourself another chance here on 2nd down to try and get a first down.
Alex Galdani captaining the offense here tonight, doing a pretty good job, up by 19. 2nd down and 10 from the 19-yard line of Brantford. Short pass and off the fingertips of the intended receiver as Max Fantouz had a lot of speed there and almost was able to haul that one in, but dropped it at the last moment, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Fantouz just might have been thinking about what was developing in front of him as that ball was coming into his hands, because I think he knew he had a little bit of space out there, but there was a defender coming down on him on that left side of the field.
.430 to play in the first half. And they elect to punt it onto the track.
Looks like that one might have gone. I'm trying to see, did that go through the end zone or was that out of bounds?
Look, that went to the corner of the end zone.
It looks like the Cougars got the single point on that one.
And that's what happened, 20-0. Cougars widening their lead, 4:06 to go. Cougars in their home opener here, the varsity squad. All 4 classes of football going on this weekend here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. The junior varsity's squad losing earlier on this afternoon here. Bantams and Pee-wees play on Sunday. This one going pretty well, 20-0. Chatham-Kent on the good side there as they keep it on the ground. Brantford does, punching it up the middle for a couple of yards.
The quarterback, Dam, keeping the football. Eric DeMars, number 34 with the tackle, linebacker.
Four-yard pickup, 2nd down and 6. Clock moving, 3:30 remaining in quarter number 2. Quarterback dropping back to pass. Now a lot of pressure for the Cougars, and down goes the quarterback for the Brantford Bisons as Jesse Dam had a lot of trouble right from the snap.
Boy, we had a late flag come in there long after the play was over. I'm going to guess this one's going against the Cougars. Interesting to see what the call is here, though. Might have been taunting, but that was 71. Cameron Riley Ward with the sack, finally getting that sack that he wasn't given credit for. Well, I shouldn't say given credit for earlier because the quarterback did manage to throw the ball away as he was making the tackle on Dam. But Riley Ward, we've seen him get some pressure in the backfield that time, getting the sack on Dam. And then we had the flag come down a couple of seconds after the play was over. And the official was in the area of a couple of Chatham-Kent Cougar players, which leads me to believe maybe it was something one of the Cougar players had said. Oh, we've got penalties against both squads here. It was unsportsmanlike penalties against both squads on that play. I imagine it was verbal because I was looking in that area, didn't see any physical contact between any of the players.
Mm-hmm. Something that one or two of the boys had said. So 3rd down and 6 here, 24-yard line. And once again, the punting unit for the Bisons, 3rd and 21 now as the football is backed up quite a bit. Three and 20 to go in period number 2, quarter number 2 in the first half. Snap back to the punter, and once again, a very good punt as that one comes all the way back to the 45-yard line of the Cougars. Now bobbled by Chatham-Kent and scrambling to get past the 40-yard line as Eric Frappier had some tense moments with the football there, but he was able to keep possession. And the Cougars from inside their territory will have the football once again in the final 3 minutes of the first half and a 20-point lead.
I wouldn't be surprised this one's against the Cougars. I think it's going to be a block in the back as well. So what looked to be some real good field position developing for the Cougars. It's the second time we've seen Eric Frappier have some troubles with a punt. And that one, he can't hold on to it cleanly. It was a good kick from Brantford, but he wasn't able to hold on to it cleanly. And then after having to go backwards from that ball getting away from him, one of the Cougars, I believe, came in with a block in the back, so that pushed them back even further. So will look to be some positive field position. Now the Cougars all the way back to their about their 35-yard line.
First down for the Cougars, 3 minutes and counting to go, remaining in quarter number 2. On 1st and 10, Galdoni handing it off. And on the ground, not able to get back to the line of scrimmage. As the defense for Brantford right there to make the tackle quickly.
Yeah, Cody Miller with the loss on that one. Nice job from Brantford. Looks like this Brantford defense may be stiffening up here a little bit as this game goes on. Now the Cougars still with a comfortable 20-0 lead, but this has become more of a seesaw battle here in the second quarter. Battle of field position.
Now penalty against Brantford, and the Cougars pick up 5 yards there, so this is going to be now a 1st and 5. As the Cougars get a bit of a break there. Galdani, a quick pass up the middle, almost intercepted, swatted down by Chris Leary, linebacker for the Bisons. Almost intercepting it, got one hand on it and slapped it to the ground.
Yeah, Cougars a little bit lucky there. As you mentioned, looked like that might have been a good chance at a pick anyway. That ball looked like it was intended for Gabe Gagne, who was coming across the middle. But knocked down, nearly picked off. And, so far, the Cougars have been good with the football. No turnovers, knock on wood, in the first half of this football game, and they have created one turnover.
On the incompletion, 2nd down and 5. And now all kinds of movement before the snap. 2 or 3 flags coming down on the field. Who moved first? Look like it's against the Cougars. So that will bring the football back to its original point, 2nd and 10. Cougars front line moving first.
Yeah, it looked like they marked that one off. Yeah, it should have. They counted off too many yards there. It was only a 5-yard penalty. So they reset the ball. It's in the right spot now.
35-yard line, still in Cougar territory. Repeat 2nd down. Here's Galdani looking for open receiver, scrambling to his left, throwing it up in the air. Nobody in the area as he just throws it out of bounds. That will bring up 3rd and 10. As Galdani had a lot of pressure, he just throws it away.
Yeah, the Cougars offense sputtering a little bit there. We had a couple of penalties mixed in on that drive, and Galdani throws that one away. Nowhere to go with the football. A little bit of pressure he got on that as he scrambled out to his left. Which is 2:19 left here in the second quarter, and the skies have cleared up a little bit now. We did have some of that rain come down, and looked like for certain we were going to have a thunderstorm, but it's cleared up once again.
Let's hope that remains for the entire second half. Now a high snap as the Cougars are going to kick this one away. And overhand kick comes down around the 47-yard line, bouncing out around the 45 of Brantford. Close to midfield, the Bisons will have another shot at it offensively, still being shut out 20-0 by the Cougars.
Good job there by Ben Bartlett. Directional kick. Bounces out of bounds, so no chance for a return from Brantford. And smart decision. Last thing you want is for Brantford to gain any momentum here as the second quarter winds down with a big return. You've played a good first half of football. You're up 20-0. Your defense here, you hope they're stout, able to stop Brantford and not allow them to put any points on the board. You don't want to give them any confidence heading into halftime.
2:12 remaining in quarter number 2, 46-yard line. As Jesse Dam, quarterback for the Bisons, the offense going back to work. Here's Dam with the snap, looking for someone down the field. Passes up, and now looks like this might be an interference call as number 2, Denny Rand Jr. Looks like he ran initially a little bit too far, and the ball was underthrown, but looks like he might have been interfered with.
Well, both the safety, number 83, that's Eric Frappier, and number 2 there, David Adeniran Jr., looked like they were both going for the ball. They were both looking up at the football. And it's hard to see what exactly Frappier did that drew the flag. Both of them looked like they were both looking for the football, and looked like Adeniran Jr. lost his footing a little bit. And I could see Frappier talking to the official there, wondering why he was flagged. But nonetheless, that's a big penalty against the Cougars. Brings up a big first down here on the Chatham-Kent side of the football field.
As you were mentioning, not really, you don't want to give them a glimmer of hope with your Chatham-Kent's defense. You don't want to let them back in the football game. 2:06 left to work with in this first half. A 20-0 score. Now a pass along that far side, brought down once again. A completed pass, a lot of room to move for the Bisons, heading towards the end zone. See if he can make it in, and it is a touchdown for Brantford as Adeniran Jr. gets in from midfield. So just like that, Brantford Bisons on the scoreboard, 20-6 now, as that glimmer of hope now there for Brantford as Adeniran Jr. goes in for that big 50-yard scoring play.
Well, circle Adeniran Jr.'s name if you're a Cougars defender, because he certainly has some speed and showed that right there. Just a simple swing pass, gets a couple of nice blocks, and then turns on the jets and takes it all the way to the house, a 49-yard touchdown run. And that number 2 certainly got some speed. You get him the ball in space, he's obviously dangerous.
Up and through, 20-7 now is your score. 1:55 left, so still some time for the offense of the Cougars to get those points back heading into the locker room at halftime. But in a half where Brantford Bisons couldn't really do anything that would get them into this football game in a 20-point hole, now have some momentum here. So the Cougars defense unable to stop them for the first time tonight. And they're quasi back to this football game.
Well, as we mentioned, that's exactly what you didn't want to see happen if you're the Cougars. The Cougars in the second quarter, as the second quarter went on, the offense started to sputter a little bit. It became more of a field position battle. And a couple of areas there where the Cougars weren't able to take advantage. And it almost looks like Brantford has gained some confidence as this game has gone on. They were down early, but they've certainly got some fight in them, and they've showed that right there. They're able to bounce back, stay the course, and put a touchdown on the board. Now they only trail by a couple of scores, and a lot of time left in this football game.
And the kick is up, and this will bounce out of bounds around the 26-yard line.
Of course, the penalty flags fly. It's a penalty for kicking the football out of bounds on the kickoff.
So that'll help the Cougars a little bit here with the field position. Under 2 minutes to play in quarter number 2.
Yeah, a bit of a directional kick there from Brantford, trying to maybe catch an open spot in the return team of the Cougars and potentially recover the football. But not able to do so. The ball goes out of bounds, so the Cougars get the football at their own 40-yard line.
So 70 yards away from a major score, and 1:55 to work with here in the second quarter for the Cougars, as they have that short pass and off of the fingertips of Cody Miller, as Galdani looked to have a sure completion on that short pass, but Cody Miller just didn't time it as well as he could have, and it goes off the fingertips and incomplete.
Yeah, again, it's that's a simple pass and catch right there, and unfortunately Miller not able to hold on to the football. Had a couple blockers out in front of him as well that potentially could have turned into a nice gain on first down, and instead it's an incomplete pass, and now you're left with second and long, and Brantford gaining some momentum.
Maybe that wet football could have been a factor there. And off the snap, rolling to his right, but play whistle down dead. Penalty flag before the play gets underway. And once again, this one against Chatham-Kent. So things, all of a sudden, last couple minutes, not going the Cougars' way.
Cougars here on offense have just started to falter a little bit. Again, in the second quarter, early on in the second quarter, they'd put up a score, but just haven't been able to maintain that momentum that they had developed certainly in the first quarter and a bit. And Brantford's come on here as the game has gone on. Cougars going to have to regroup here and regain the momentum, certainly on the Bison side of the football field.
On 2nd and 15, going down the field, long pass here, and the receiver can't catch up to it as heading down near sideline was Ben Bartlett, but that one was overthrown, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 15 for the Cougars.
Well, that's a shame. That was a nice route by Bartlett running up the sideline, and he had the defender beat, and quarterback Galdoni, not a bad throw there at all. Just about a yard and a half too long. That close to a big play, but nonetheless, it falls incomplete. The Cougars going to have to punt this one away again.
And still, only 11 seconds off the clock from that entire possession for the Cougars. There's still 1:44 to play in quarter two, and the football going back to Brantford as the kick is up. It will come out of bounds around the 51-yard line, just past midfield. So decent field position here for the offense of Brantford, as Jesse Dam will have another chance to work here.
And the Cougars have consistently gone to that kick out of bounds, and it might be because we've seen that Ed Neeren Jr. can really move. He's the return man for Brantford, back waiting for that football. They don't want to give him a chance to break anything open. He's got a lot of speed. They don't want to see him take it to the house and bring the Brantford Bisons any closer than they are right now as the second quarter winds down. And boy, it's been a long second quarter at that.
It has been a lengthy second frame here, and Neeren Jr. also with the touchdown for Brantford in that last series. Keeping the football was the quarterback Dam, and good job by the Cougars front man to trip him up behind the line of scrimmage, and looks like they dropped about 3 yards there.
Nice job by Tony Parker coming up with the tackle, not to be confused with the Spurs point guard.
He couldn't make it tonight. 90 seconds to play in the second quarter. Cougars defense looking to get another big play and make this a short possession for Brantford and get that football back before halftime. Here's Dam once again going to the air and almost intercepted by the Cougars along that far sideline. That was almost a sure Timmermans interception.
Jason Timmermans.
He was right there.
He's wondering why the ball was being thrown directly to him. He's shaking his head right now. I'm sure he was probably thinking it as the ball was coming. He's thinking,
this isn't right.
He's throwing this right to me. What is happening? Now I've dropped it. Jason Timmermans, that's going to haunt you tonight. You won't sleep well after that one. Wondering what would have been. There was nobody in front of him. They would have taken that one back to the house for sure. And as a defensive back, that one hurts. But that's why you're a defensive back usually. You can't catch.
Biting commentary from Michael James.
I know, speaking as a former defensive back.
Not soothing Timmermans at all. But the bright spot, it was third down, and the Cougars do have the football again off the punt. And still 65 seconds to work with in this second quarter as it continues to drag on here. And a 20-7 lead for the Cougars over the Brantford Bisons.
I feel I should expand on my comments. Usually defensive backs are determined by not being able to catch the football.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And if you have good speed, you'll be considered to play a defensive back as well.
And you have experience.
Exactly.
As a DB.
I do have experience as a defensive back. I'm speaking as a fellow defensive back.
So it's like self-deprecating humor.
It really is.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Except directed at Timmermans.
Poor
young man.
If you get nicknamed Stonehands, you usually know you're not a receiver.
1:05 to play, rolling to his left. A little bit of trouble here for the quarterback, and down he goes as Galdoni had nowhere to throw it, and the defense swarming the Cougars quarterback, and a big loss. 1 minute to play.
Jacob Montini with the huge sack there on the quarterback Galdoni, and that was a massive loss of yardage there, about 13 yards. Galdoni just had nowhere to go with the football, couldn't throw it away. Defender right in his face, and a long ways to go here for the Cougars.
2nd and 23. Galdoni back to pass, a short pass that is picked up. A lot of room to move here, trying to get as much yardage as he can. Brought down well behind the yards to pick up the first down. Bartlett with a nice reception, but still coming up about 8 yards short. Ball will be at the 40-yard line.
Boy, that was a big play by the linebacker Montini, number 51 for Brantford, because Bartlett if he's able to evade that tackle, he has some real estate in front of him, and Montini comes in, dives, and makes the tackle, gets a hold of his arm that he had the football in, and Bartlett was that close to getting a first down on that 2nd and long. Instead, it's a 3rd and about 9 yards. They're going to have to punt this one away.
Cougars letting as much time tick off the clock in this first half as they can. Nursing a 13-point lead. Just getting that kick underway here, and it comes to around the 34-yard line. Picked up by Denny Rand Jr., who's still on his feet as he eludes one tackle, reverses course, cuts to his left, and now on that far sideline, still some room to move for Denny Rand Jr., still on his feet midfield, and luckily for the Cougars, tripped up at the 40-yard line. As the horn blows to end the second quarter, but some tense moments there. You can never count out number 2 for Brantford because he is very elusive.
Boy, that was close. I think the entire Cougars fan base here holding their breath, watching Dinaran Jr. take that football across the field. We saw him score earlier in the game, use that speed, but that time a touchdown-saving tackle from Bartlett, the punter, or else this game's that much closer.
And that is going to do it for the first half as well. So luckily that tackle happened to the 40-yard line. The Cougars able to maintain their 13-point lead heading to the locker room. 20-7, the Cougars with their varsity squad's home opener, leading the Brantford Bisons. Back with second half action in just a bit on TV Coach&Co. Mike Renegade, Mike James, the Chatham-Kent Cougars. Back for second half action here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Chatham-Kent Cougars in the varsity home opener. Third quarter now underway and a 20-7 lead over the Brantford Bisons. And Chatham-Kent will get the football to start the second half. Kick is up in the air, comes down around the 30-yard line. And on the return, getting well over 10 yards and some decent field position to kick things off.
Nice return there from Cody Miller, number 11. Running back for the Cougars. So that offense we mentioned in the second quarter started to sputter a little bit, really lost the momentum that they had built up from the first quarter and early in the second. And then Brantford gaining some confidence as this game has gone on. It was a 20-0 lead for Chatham-Kent. Now it is 20-7, so just 2 scores separating these two teams.
So really an important possession here for the Cougars as they want to get back the momentum that they lost at the end of the first half. And now a completed pass after the quarterback scrambling and good yards after the catch, getting close to midfield. Took a while for the quarterback Galdani to find his man, but he did in a completed pass and actually moving the chains.
Yeah, nice reception there from Dwan Mayu, number 15 from the Cougars. And looks like we got a player down there where the reception was made. It is a Brantford Bison, number 29, Greg Roberts, being helped off with the trainer there, so hopefully he's okay, being able to walk off on his own power. But a nice reception, nice completion there for Galdoni, the quarterback for the Cougars, completing his first pass attempt here in the second half. And we saw a lot of that in the first quarter of this football game. Galdoni hitting his receivers in stride, moving this offense up and down the field. And I'm sure they're going to try to rekindle some of that momentum here in the second half.
1 yard shy of midfield. Cougars on the attack once again, going to the air. Big strong throw and just past the outstretched hands of Marcus Shad as he had his big 6'1 frame. Almost able to haul that one in, but just out of the range of Shad. Good try for the Cougars, but it's 2nd and 10.
And Shad had the defenders beat, 3 of them there, but Shad managed to get behind them. And Galdoni, it looks like Galdoni throws a nice deep ball. That's the 3rd time we've seen them go deep. They've completed one of them, and the other 2 were really just within a stride of the receiver. So Galdoni looks like he's got a nice arm, puts a nice touch on that deep route.
Trying it again, going to the air once more. 2nd and 10 and a short screen pass. Some room to move here for the Cougars. First down as the ball comes past the 45-yard line, and a good job by Max Fantus on the short screen pass, and he was able to make up the yardage in very short order using that speed. And 1st and 10 here for the Cougars past the 45-yard line.
And he had a blocker out in front of him and actually ran past him for a moment there. I thought, Fantus was maybe trying to get up there too quick, but ran past the blocker, used his big frame, and ran through an arm tackle. And as you mentioned, Mike, able to get the first down. Nice job by Fantus using his size.
All the way up to the 42-yard line, and they keep it on the ground past the 40-yard line. Cougars picking up 2, maybe 3 yards. Looked like that was Brimmer on the carry, I believe.
Yeah, Brimmer with the carry there. Nice job by Fantus lining up as the fullback there, leading the way. Nice collision in the hole. Gave Brimmer some daylight to pick up about 3, maybe 4 yards on first down. And now it looks like we've got another player injured for the Bisons. Number 68. It's Sam DeKoning.
I believe the second time that DeKoning's been injured in this football game, so he's had a rough go here.
But again, walking off on his own power, you like to see that. Actually now jogging, so that's a good sign. Hopefully we'll see him back in the football game.
Calling it a 3-yard pickup on the ground for the Cougars, setting up a 2nd and 7, 39-yard line of the Bisons. We played close to 3 minutes in this third quarter, as now we are firmly under the lights here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Mike Renier, Mike James, Jeff Brooks on the camera here with TB Kojiko, and Cougars action all season long with TB Kojiko. The varsity squad in their home opener up by 13. Swing pass along that far side, eluding one tackle and getting a few positive yards. Looks to be close to the first down. Or pardon me, just past the line of scrimmage, I should say. Short of the first down, it looks to be about maybe 3 yards shy. So it's going to set up a 3rd and 3 here as the ball is able to get up to the 35-yard line.
Looks like the kick team going to come on here for the Cougars. I believe it was Ben Bartlett with the reception on the far side. Just a little swing pass. Try to give him some space, make a move, and get some positive yards. And a nice spin move to evade the first would-be tackler. But Brantford's defense meeting at the football and doing a good job restricting the number of yards after the catch. And the Cougars going to have to punt this one away here with a 3rd and about 3. At Brantford's 35-yard line.
Kick is up, kind of a line drive kick, and grabbed deep in Brantford territory, about a 5-yard return. So still a good job by the Cougars to pin the Bisons deep. And for the Brantford offense, the work will be cut out for them. On this upcoming drive, 11:17 to go in this third quarter. 20-7, the Cougars with the lead.
Looks like it was Cody Miller there with the tackle. Nice coverage from the Cougars. As you mentioned, bit of a line drive kick. That's a tough one to cover because the ball gets to the return man so quickly and usually gives him a fair amount of space before he encounters any would-be tacklers. But number 11, Miller, there to make a nice shoestring tackle and put Brantford in tough field position here.
1st and 10, they keep it on the ground, and a good job to elude the first tackle, but nowhere to move for the running back. As a Darian Jr. trying to get around the outside along the near side, and nowhere to go thanks to the Cougars defense.
Yeah, nice job by the defense. Darian lined up in the backfield. And as we've mentioned, he's got a lot of speed. We saw that on the touchdown run for the only score that Brantford has. And a nice contain there from the defensive end and the linebackers.
2-yard loss on that last play, 2nd and 12 as the football comes up in the air. And again, Darian Jr. was the intended receiver. And some nice coverage here by the Cougars D. It floats out of bounds around the 40-yard line. So quick work there Good job by the Cougars defense. 3rd and 12 coming up, and just like that, Cougars will get the ball back.
And it should be some decent field position as well, barring any kind of a penalty or mishap. It was Jason Timmermans on the coverage there of a Darian Jr. on that pass attempt, and Timmermans thinking maybe even that one might fall into his hands, but that one sails just out of bounds. But really nowhere for that ball to go. It was a good decision by Dam to throw that one out of bounds because, as I mentioned, Jason Timmerman's there waiting for that football.
Way up in the air as the football comes out of bounds around the 41-yard line. And the Cougars will go back on offense, trying to widen their lead a little bit. They were up 20-0 at one point late in the first half. Late touchdown for the Bisons, making the score the way it is now, 20-7. As we have played 5 minutes of this third quarter.
Just a 20-yard kick there from Brantford, so some real positive field position here for the Cougars. And second possession here of the second half, and Cougars doing a nice job in the field position battle here. Starting off fairly deep in Brantford zone.
1st and 10 out of the shotgun position. Looking back to pass, and a completed pass up to the 40-yard line, getting some good yards. Bartlett. Pardon me, that's Max Fantus, pardon me, as he was able to get some very good yardage on 1st and 10. Able to just sneak in bounds. And looks like they're going to measure this one.
And again, Fantus using that big frame of his. He's 6'1", 215, and he takes the would-be tackler head on. He's running down that sideline, but with that size, you're not going to dance out of bounds. You're going to take on the would-be tackler. He does that and actually eludes being tackled from the first defender, and he doesn't get knocked out of bounds until he encounters the second defender. By that point, he's already gained about 8, 9 yards, maybe even 10. They've got the measurement coming out here, but he had already gained about 5 yards before the first point of contact, but because of that size and elusiveness, he's able to pick up another 3 or 4 yards before he's actually pushed out of bounds. So good job of Fantus, knowing he's got a big frame. Maybe the defender a little bit hesitant to make contact, and nice big gain.
2nd and 1 at most. Here for the Cougars. Ball rests on the 31-yard line of Brantford. Here's Galdani again. They go on the ground and easily picking up the yardage. Up the middle, running back Max Fantus, as he's having a quality game here on the ground.
Well, you got to like that when you line Fantus up in the backfield as the fullback, and he just powers right through that defensive line. I don't know if he even got touched before he got to the linebacker level, and then runs over a couple of Brantford defenders. That's what you call imposing your will on the defense. Fantus just using that size and letting them know he's going to be a load if they're going to try to bring him down.
Up to the 25-yard line of Brantford. Galdani once again going to the air towards the end zone. And it falls incomplete. A burst of speed for the Cougars receiver, and he had it heading towards the ground and just lost it at that last moment. As Bartlett almost had a highlight reel touchdown. He turned on the Jets, but just lost control of the football at that very last moment. Almost touchdown there for the Cougars, but no points there.
Yeah, and again, another well-thrown football from Galdoni, a deep ball, and he put it right on the money for Bartlett. Bartlett obviously not going to feel good about that one. He had that right in his hands, in his grasp for a touchdown. It was going to be an easy touchdown. No defender near him, but just not able to squeeze it and pull it in.
2nd and 10 from the 25. There's Galdani once again. A little bit of pressure. Now he's scrambling backwards. He's all the way back to the 40-yard line and finds an open receiver along that far sideline for some positive yardage. Trying to see who brought that one down. Looks to be that was Bartlett looking across the field. Waiting for them to mark the football. And are they bringing the chains out to determine here?
Yeah, out comes the chain gang. Looks like this one's going to be close. That was a nice job by Galdoni. He feels some pressure in the pocket on that right side, scrambles out to his left, and again, another tough throw, throwing against his body. And Bartlett doing a good job making himself available over on that far side, giving his quarterback a target, and Galdoni fired it right into the numbers. And Bartlett coming up close here to the first down. Looks like it's going to be just a little bit short, though.
So decision time, do you go for 3 or do you try and punch it up the middle again to get that first down?
Well, we've seen a couple times the field goal unit on the extra point attempts have some trouble with the snap and the hold, so maybe you go for it here. Just you need maybe a yard, and you've had some success running the football here in the second half, especially right up the gut with fan twos. I wouldn't be surprised if we see number 85's number called here on short yardage situations.
See what James Clark has to say here. Looks like they're going to go for it in 3rd and 1. Galdoni under center. 3rd and 1 here for the Chatham-Kent Cougars. On the doorstep, and now a little collision between a couple of players, but it looks like they get the first down yardage, no problem. Keeping it on the ground. And I believe that was Fan Twos on the carry there.
Yeah, you got it. It was Fan Twos. And that left side, beautiful job. Lots of room over there. No problem getting the first down yardage. Let's try that again.
You got it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. No worries.
And Fan Twos using that big body, running over a defender, and no problem, first down for the Cougars.
Very close to 1st and goal territory. 1st and 10 from the 10 as they keep it on the ground. And once again, running it right up the middle.
Well, this is what you like to see from that Cougars offense. This is shades of that first quarter offense that we saw, where they were able to move the football at will on the ground, in the air, and really starting to impose their will on this Brampton defense. You see some of the Brampton players with their hands on their hips starting to tire a little bit here in the 3rd quarter, really getting pounded right in the interior of that defensive line.
2nd and 7 off that gain of 3, and now a little end around. Sprinting towards the end zone. Touchdown, Cougars! A rushing touchdown for Ben Bartlett. And a big major score for the Cougars as they're now up by 19, pending the extra point, 26-7, as Bartlett punches it in with some great speed.
Well, a nice run, a nice call there from the Cougars. They bring Bartlett across the formation. He hands the ball off, does Galdoni. And Bartlett just uses that speed to get around the corner and into the end zone for the touchdown. That's a big score here for the Cougars, making it a 3-score possession. Cougars going to go for the 2-point conversion here as well.
Trying to make it a 21-point lead. Galdoni finding a receiver off that far side. Can he punch it into the end zone? He does. He gets in. And a 2-point convert is successful for the Cougars for the first time tonight. And they expand their lead to 21 at 28-7.
Well done there. I think it was Fan Twos with the reception. Able to run it in on that far side for the 2-point convert. So to make it 28-7.
So a good drive there offensively for the Cougars after both teams on their first possession of the second half couldn't do much, putting up 0 points. Good timing there for Chatham-Kent as they now have a 21-point lead and their biggest lead of the night so far. Cougars to kick it off their own 45 and a line drive kick and a good one as it trickles out of bounds and the flag to go with it. 6:17 to go. Third quarter. Cougars up by 3 full touchdowns.
And again, I'd say heading into halftime there, the Cougars offense had to be thinking to themselves, you know what, we really had things humming early on in this game. Let's get back to that. Let's impose our will again on this Brantford defense, and it looks like they've done that here early on in the third quarter, which is nice to see because the Cougars offense have shown that they are a dangerous bunch. They have a lot of weapons, but just seemed like they had a couple errors, maybe some lack of concentration, and looks like they've kind of sorted out those errors, if you will, here in the third quarter, and starting to look again like a potent, dangerous offense.
Bisons take over at their own 40-yard line. They have an uphill battle ahead of them, and a nice big hit to the 35-yard line. Good job by the Cougar defense stuffing the running back. And a loss there for the Bison, so right off the hop there. That looked to be Claridge, I believe, Jamesy.
Yeah, Carter Claridge busting through that defensive line, and we've seen that throughout this game. Number 33, big number 33, getting into the backfield and disrupting things, and that was a huge tackle, a 5-yard loss. Claridge, he's proven to be a handful for that defense of Brantford, and now it looks like they're calling a timeout. The Bisons are. The head coach, I think, wants to regroup his team, seeing that they're struggling here a little bit in the third quarter after that strong finish to the first half.
Yes, and you mentioned the tenacity that the Cougars had for the most part of the first half. Well, as you alluded to as well, had some momentum for Brantford at the end of the second quarter, and I'm sure the coaching staff is trying to put that fire back into the Bisons as well to say, you know what, we have a lot of time left on the clock. We're down by 3 touchdowns, but there's a lot of time left to play. And the Bisons' perspective, they need a big drive here. Cougars defense, they've been playing very good football all game long, and they just got to keep doing their thing.
Yeah, only 7 points on the board for Brantford here, so good job from the Cougars defense.
And based on the last hit by Claridge, the defense for Chatham-Kent has not lost any fire from the opening kickoff.
No, and that'll certainly get the defense pumped up, too, when you see a big hit like that for a loss.
2nd and 15 coming up after the timeout. 35-yard line for the Bisons. Cougars looking for their first win of the season, 0-1 so far, and this is their home opener. Out of the shotgun. It is a completed pass up to the 40-yard line and beyond, but brought down was Darian Jr. well short of the first down.
Nice tackle there from Cam LeBute, number 7. We've called his name a number of times now. Very nice, sure tackle there because Darian's coming across the middle of that formation with a lot of speed. That ball hits him right in the hands, and if he can turn that corner, he can be really dangerous. We know he's got speed to burn, but LeBute making a nice tackle, getting down low, a nice sure tackle, and forcing Brantford into a punt situation.
Cougars trying to really take control of this football game in the third quarter, doing a good job with it, getting the only points of this third quarter, a touchdown in their last possession, and they're poised to get the football back once again. And play whistle down.
Not sure what the whistle is for here. We've got a timeout on the field, apparently, we're hearing. Chatham-Kent calling the timeout.
Much better fortunes for the varsity squad than they had last week in Hamilton. They put that completely out of their minds, and they're now up by 21. They'll get the football back. Kick just gets off. Bouncing around the 36-yard line, picked up by the Cougars, and now a minimal run back by number 86 is Chance Beaumont on the return. Getting maybe 3 or 4 before he steps out of bounds.
Well, this Cougars offense now has some momentum again here in the second half, so we'll see if they can build off of that last possession. A nice drive and score. We saw a lot of Max Fantus getting the football, either as a receiver, as a tight end, or as a fullback running the football. And to me, that's really that was really key. You know, he helped the Cougars offense impose their will, making them dangerous on the ground and in the air, and using that size and physicality. The Cougars playing that physical brand of football.
40-yard line starting point for the Cougars. Nice job going up the middle, close to a first down with Cody Miller getting the call, and Miller gets at least 9 yards on that one. We'll see if they have a definitive answer on the first down or not. Looks like it is marked about a half yard shy. Maybe less than a half a yard. Up to the 49-yard line.
That's Miller's best run of the day for sure. A nice job, middle of that offensive line, creating some space. Looks like he's able to dance around in the hole a little bit, evade a would-be tackler, and a nice pickup on first down.
Under 3.5 to play, quarter number 3. Predictably, they keep it on the ground, able to punch it past the 50-yard line. And it appears to be more than enough for the first down. And now one of the Cougars having some difficulty getting up. That looks like trying to see the number on the back of the jersey. Is that Van Zelst? 50, pardon me, that's Matt Ruddy, who's having some difficulty and is in some pain.
Yeah, looks like Ruddle's got some discomfort on his right leg there. He's got it up in the air. He was right in the middle of that offensive line and not putting any pressure on that right leg.
That is not a good sign if he can't put any pressure on it. He is certainly hobbled.
And he tried to get up too. Sorry about that.
No, that's
Mike.
all right. Crowd making a nice ovation for the injured Cougar. And Ruddle being helped off the field by a couple of his teammates. So hopefully he's able to fix that up and be back in short order.
Yeah, you never like to see that. Ruddle, you could tell he was in some discomfort on the ground, but tried to get up and just couldn't manage.
More than enough for the first down on that last run. 1st and 10 at the Cougars' 51-yard line. Going to the air once again, outstretched arms of the receiver, and now running around 2 or 3 defenders, getting some great yardage that time around. Looks like Marcus Shadd on the reception. And Shadd has had some pretty nifty receptions here in this football game.
Yeah, nice grab there by Shadd, and using that speed and elusiveness there on that far side. Pick up of about 13 yards on that passing catch.
Galdani playing to the height of Shadd. And again, moving the chains, 42-yard line now. Well into Bison territory. 2:10 to go in quarter number 3. Cougars trying to get the dagger in this football game, keeping it on the ground, getting close to, if not to, the 35-yard line. That's a pickup of at least 6, maybe 7 yards.
I like the call there from the Cougars offensive coordinator, deciding to hand the ball off, keep it on the ground, give it to Cody Miller, because it looks like that Brantford defense is starting to tire along that defensive line. And the way you take advantage of that is you just continue to pound the football. And as you mentioned, Mike, a nice gain of about 6 yards on first down. You just let that offensive line just drive off the football and push that defense around, and that's exactly what you saw there. I wouldn't be surprised as this game goes on, we see the Cougars run the football more and more, even though we know they like to pass it.
And some injury trouble for the Bisons as the training staff out to tend to another young man, trying to see who is down on the field around the 42-yard line. this injury timeout, giving the Cougars a bit of a breather here, but a well-played drive here again. And already with a 21-point lead, you think if they are able to get another major score here, they will very much be in the driver's seat heading towards the fourth quarter. And that injured Bison still on his back.
And certainly a factor here is Brantford, the Bisons, don't come with a lot of numbers. There aren't a lot of players over there on the sideline. So when we talk about fatigue, a big part of that is the fact that you don't have a lot of players to sub in. You have a lot of guys that are playing both offense and defense, and then special teams. So certainly fatigue can take its toll, and it looks like fatigue becoming a factor here in the second half.
Well, after a lengthy delay here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex, we're back at it here, and a major injury, and actually a scary sight. Big injury for one of the Brantford Bisons, Mike.
Braden Preston, we didn't see a lot of movement out of him, and the ambulance unfortunately had to be called in, and great job by the paramedics getting him onto the stretcher, and ambulance has just left for the hospital. So of course our thoughts and prayers with Braden Preston, and hopefully he's okay. Of course, you're always going to take every precaution in a situation like that. Whenever there's an injury where it involves maybe some lack of movement. So great job by the staff here. They got him loaded up, and he's off to the hospital. So again, Braden Preston, number 53 for Brantford, hopefully going to be all right.
I know it's an overused term, but it does put things into perspective and how football and sports in general are second to, as the Cougars go in for another major score and a touchdown. Beautiful pass, and reeled in by Gabe Gagne for another touchdown for the Chatham-Kent Cougars as they widen their lead. It is now 34-7. A beautiful pass there by Alex Galdani, who's having a fantastic game for Chatham-Kent. But back to the injury for Braden Preston puts things into perspective as to, the game being secondary. We want that young man to be okay, and certainly a scary 30 minutes where they had to call in the ambulance to take him to the Chatham-Kent Health Alliance, and hopefully he's going to emerge just fine over time. I'm sure that's not going to be a quick thing for Braden Preston.
No, and again, it's a terrible call to have to make for the Brantford staff to inform his parents, because we understand his parents weren't here tonight. So unfortunately they had to be contacted, and it's not a phone call you want to get as a parent, I'm sure. But you hope for the best, and it does unfortunately happen. It's a part of sports, as you said. We've all seen people get hurt while we were playing or watching a game, and that's why you have medical staff that do a great job taking care of the players. And
at the arrival of the ambulance, it didn't take any time at all.
No, it really
the ambulance came very quickly. So, again, our thoughts, as Michael mentioned, thoughts and prayers to Braden Preston, and I'm sure the Bisons will be playing the rest of this game for their teammate number 53 on the offensive line. Chatham-Kent with another major score. 1 minute to go in the third quarter after at least a half an hour delay here from that major injury. 35-7, the Cougars now well in control of this football game. Final minute of the third quarter. A lot of positives here for the Cougars varsity squad in this home opener and the second game of the season. They've certainly shaken off last week's drubbing in Hamilton.
Yeah, they certainly have. The offenses looked very dangerous. They sputtered a little bit in the second quarter, but overall it's been a nice performance. We've seen this Brantford squad looks like they've started to tire here in the second half, and then obviously we had the injury delay, and it's going to be a tough one for this Brantford squad to finish out. Obviously your thoughts are with a player that you just saw get carted off on a stretcher into an ambulance, so it's a tough one to finish off, but nonetheless, they'll do it. They'll play hard.
Incredibly strong kick there by the Chatham-Kent Cougars. Football goes all the way into the end zone, picked up by Brantford, taking it out of the end zone. A big hit deep in Brantford territory. And that pins the Bisons very, very deep in their end as the Cougars defense continues to very much impress in this football game.
Boy, that's a big hit there from Tony Parker, number 50 for the Cougars. Just laying out James McQueen on the attempted return, and Brantford stuck deep in their own zone here. It's not going to be easy for this Brantford squad to refocus, but nonetheless, you don't have much choice, and you just try to play through it.
Game still has to be played. 1st and 10, all the way back to the 6-yard line of Brantford, and down by 4 touchdowns, 35-7. As they will keep it on the ground, really nowhere to move for the running back for Brantford. The front line of the Cougars up to the task. Looks like they even dropped 2 yards. Not able to get back to the line of scrimmage, so all the way back to the 4-yard line now.
Andy Nason with the carry there, and it was Cameron Rylett Ward, big number 71, getting into the backfield, causing that loss of yardage.
This will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Dropping back to pass on 2nd and 12, and almost intercepted as Cam Labute almost tried to make a diving interception, falling on the turf before it gets there. So that will now set up a 3rd and 12, very, very deep. And
we've got an official down now in the end zone.
Didn't see what happened in the end zone to one of the officials. A very bizarre evening here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. He's back up and ready to go. End of the 3rd quarter now. Teams switching sides, 35-7. Chatham-Kent Cougars in the varsity home opener. Have this one well underway and in hand.
As you mentioned, that was quite odd, and now
back underway here in the 4th quarter, taking a knee in the end zone were the Bisons, as they were really backed up all the way to the 4-yard line. 3rd and 12, taking a knee in the end zone. In just what has been really a long, terrible night for the Brantford crew.
Yeah, they'll concede the safety there. And we got word from the referee staff here that the clock will continue to move. Now we won't have any stoppages. Obviously, with the delay because of the injured player, I believe they want to get this game over and done with as quickly as possible. And this Brantford squad probably wanting to get home. It is getting pretty late now, and obviously their minds, it's going to be tough for them to focus on this football game with having a player gone to the hospital, in the situation that we had.
Yeah, it looks to be a continuous clock. No 3-minute warning for the 3rd quarter. And incomplete passes, you'll still see the clock running. So a slightly accelerated 4th quarter, it appears. 14:51, only 9 seconds into this 4th quarter. 37-7. The Cougars with a complete effort here tonight on both sides of the football. And special teams. Putting a good show on for their fans, the home opener. And in all likelihood, will square up the record at 1-1 at the end of this game, as this kick goes well behind the return man, but he picks it up, now turns on the Jets, gets those yards back and more. Great job here by the Cougars and Eric Frappier. And Frappier able to get up to the 40-yard line. I believe a flag is down. Sorry, Michael. Flag is down on the play.
Yep, Frappier did take a big hit at the end of that one. And now we have another player down. And it is a Brantford player again, unfortunately.
And this one's Jacob Mone for 51 linebacker. And he's able to walk under his own power, walk off the field back to the sideline. So that's good to see. But a number of injuries for Brantford here tonight. Just been a tough evening on the road for those boys. 23-yard line. Cougars taking over on offense, up by 30 points. Flag down. Cougars keeping the ball on the ground, pushing it up towards the 25-yard line. We'll see what the call is on the field here.
Well, looks like this is going against Brantford.
Bison's penalty. Bit of a high snap. Quarterback throwing it off to that far sideline, and Galdani, his pass incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up from the 32-yard line.
Pass intended for Chance Beaumont. One of the few times we've seen Galdoni off target. I mean, we've seen a couple of long passes fall incomplete, but really they were within a stride of the receiver. But that one, the first short to intermediate pass that we've really seen fall incomplete out of the reach of the receiver, which really speaks to how accurate he has been in this game.
He's been fantastic. He has really been the general of the offense all evening long as they keep it on the ground here, and a big gain, big hole for the Cougars on the ground all the way up to close to the 40-yard line. Amazing run there. That's Dion List for 88 for the Cougars, and List getting his first major run of the night. He hasn't had a lot of touches in this football game, but a 30-point margin. Dion List making an impression here.
I think you're right, Mike. I think that's the first time he's touched the football in this game. And that was a big carry as the rain starts to fall here again at the athletic complex. But a major gain on that carry. That ball was at the 32-yard line, now on Brantford's 45.
Big gain. They keep it on the ground once again past the 40-yard line. And looks like maybe List might get the majority of the carries here in this fourth quarter. He gets his second consecutive run with it. At a 6-yard gain that time around, will bring the football to the 38-yard line.
Boy, it's really just turned into a somber atmosphere here at the community complex. The injuries and then the rain, and it's just it's a really unfortunate way to see this game play out.
Cougars with a healthy lead, and once again, as expected, with such a giant lead, they're just going to keep things on the ground, pounding away at it. And once again, some positive yardage, and the chains will move. 1st and 10 here coming up, starting from the 28-yard line, so a 10-yard run that time.
Looked like it was Brimmer there with the carry. And really at this point, just looks like Brantford just going to be happy to get off this football field. As we mentioned, fatigue certainly a factor. We don't have a lot of players on this Brantford Bisons squad.
Once again, keeping it on the ground, and there's List once again. Looks like he hopped over one defender. And List getting a good chunk of yardage again. Looks like maybe about 7 yards on that carry, maybe 8.
Well, looks like the Cougars have another weapon here that we haven't seen in this game coming out here in the fourth quarter in List. And Dion List, 5'9", 180 pounds listed at.
We've talked a lot about the air attack and Galdani, who's had a fantastic football game, and Dion List showcasing his talents here in this fourth quarter as he has been marching the offense down the field. 10:23 to go. 2nd and 2. Quarterback rolling off to his right, but again, they keep it on the ground, trying to get those 2 yards for the first down yardage. And they are able to move the chains. So we approach the 5-minute mark of this fourth quarter after a 30-minute plus injury delay. It's Braden Preston, offensive lineman for Brantford, had to be carted off ambulance. And we hope the best for him. Penalty marker down.
Yeah.
Some jawing going on down there, leading to that penalty.
Yeah, a little verbal jousting. Looked like penalties to both sides.
In a 30-point game, it could get a little ugly down there if you don't kind of get this back in order.
I'm sure there's some frustration down there on the field.
First and 10, 15-yard line. Again, they keep it on the ground. List trying to find some room along that far side. He goes in for the touchdown, Chatham-Kent. And Dion List doing it all himself on that drive. And put 6 more on the board for Chatham-Kent, 43-7.
Nice run from List, but you know what? He can go thank the wide receiver out on that far side, Chance Beaumont, coming up with a beautiful block to allow him to turn the corner there. He gets a hold of the defensive back and turns him out and allows List just to run right in that alley. No problem, untouched into the end zone, and another score for the Cougars.
Extra point up and through, 44-7, 9:17 remaining in quarter number 4. It is what now is a huge lead here for the Chatham-Kent Cougars. So just 9 minutes to go until it's official. And they can knot up their record at 1-1 for the senior varsities. A couple of road games after tonight. They'll be hitting up Guelph on Saturday, June 8th. And then off to KW the following Saturday. Next home game for the senior varsity squad will be on June 22nd. As the boys from London will be in town, the Forest City Thunderbirds will be the next home game for the varsity squad.
Well, a game like this, it certainly gives you a chance. We talked about Dion List getting an opportunity to carry the football. It gives you a chance to put some players in positions where maybe you haven't had the time to do that. This is only the second game of the season, so Cougars getting a look at List at running back, see what he can provide.
Up to the, still on the play, 40-yard line. And not going down without a fight on that return for the Brantford Bisons.
Darian Jr. showing he's elusive, but aside from the one touchdown that he's been responsible for, the Cougars have really done a good job of containing him and limiting the amount of space that they give him, because they know he's got speed to burn. He proved that on that 49-yard touchdown run in the second quarter, the only score that the Bisons have been able to post here in this game. But the Cougars, you got to give them credit. Just the one big play, really, from Brantford in this game so far. So a nice job from the Chatham-Kent defense.
Jesse Dam, quarterback for the Bisons, keeping the football himself and being met by a couple of Cougars right at the 35-yard line. So barely getting the line of scrimmage before being taken down. Another penalty marker after the play is finished.
Yeah, I think. Wow. Oh, that's. It was certainly after the whistle, as you mentioned, Mike. It was Carter Claridge, number 33, and Cameron Riley Ward, number 71, who combined to make the tackle on Dam. And as Dam was getting up, you saw him push 33, Carter Claridge, and apparently Claridge did something to prompt Dam, and Claridge got called for the penalty, the unsportsmanlike.
Still could get chippy by the end of this football game, so refs will have to keep this one in check. Now they go to the air. Football goes high in the air, and it will fall right at the sidelines at the 35-yard line. Well over top of the outstretched arms of Dillon. Coaching staff very angry along the Brantford Bisons sidelines. Very frustrating night all across the board for the visitors.
I'm not sure if you'll pick that one up in the broadcast or not, but certainly the head coach for Brantford not short on words.
And a load of trouble right at the line of scrimmage for Brantford, and the quarterback Jesse Dam couldn't go anywhere. Wrapped up quickly by the defense of the Cougars. And frustration boiling over along the Bison sideline of the coaching staff. It's not been a pretty evening for that team.
Well, Jim Jevons, the head coach for Brantford, you could certainly hear him up here in the booth. And you can still hear him, actually. He's not happy. Speaking with him before the game, he mentioned, I just asked about some of his past football experience. Played university football and in Canada, and then actually went over and played football in Germany.
He's a world traveler.
In Europe.
3rd down and 10. Not much to do but kick it away, and they do just that. Ball bounces around the 40-yard line, picked up by the Cougars, and eluding one tackle. Getting as far as the 45, 47-yard line. Good effort on the return by Eric Frappier. And the starting point of this drive will be around the 47-yard line in their own territory. The Cougars up by 37.
And we've got another Brantford player down.
More injury trouble for the Brantford squad. 5:44 left to this fourth quarter.
Yeah, good to see number 43, Will Dalloway, walking off the field.
Handing it off, a big hit right as he hits the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go for the Cougars. And on the carry, I think that might have been
Brandon
Van Zelst who had the carry. Yes, normally on the line, gets the carry that time around.
Yeah, Van Zelst lined up as the fullback there. He's the up man. And Goldoni just snaps it, gives it to the first man, and Van Zelst hit a wall as soon as he got to that line of scrimmage. And just a short gain.
Somehow managed his way for a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8. Once again, they keep it on the ground. And good 2nd and 3rd effort that time around. Another yard pickup. 8 for effort that time. Cougars 7 yards shy of the first down. 3rd and 7 coming up here. 4:20 left and counting in this fourth quarter.
Cougars going to punt this one away, obviously. Ben Bartlett, the jack of all trades back there to punt it away.
He's had a fantastic game, Mr. Bartlett has. High kick comes down around the 25, having some trouble handling it before picking it up is Darian Jr. One of the very few bright spots in this game for the Bisons. And it's been David Adarian Jr., number 2.
And the sky opens up again. Here comes more rain.
Well, we haven't had to endure a thunderstorm per se. They've been calling for it for most of the day, but there's been a couple of steady showers that's come down within this football game. As we approach 3 minutes to go here in this fourth quarter.
As we mentioned, there won't be a 3-minute warning. They're keeping the clock running here. The Cougars up 44-7.
Quarterback trying to find a receiver open to his left, and it falls incomplete on the turf. 2nd and 10.
And that pass intended for Darian Jr., number 2. But sails over his head. I think that one came in a little bit quicker than he was expecting as well.
23-yard line, 2nd down and 10. Both teams quick up to the line. Just wanting to end this football game as the rains continue to come down. Dropping back to pass and almost again intercepted. As the Cougars defender trying to get that one picked off as Cam LeBute almost able to pick that one off the turf as he gets in the way of the receiver and the football.
He's had a couple of those here tonight. Some good coverage from Cam LeBute. We've called his name a number of times. Number 7.
And on 3rd and 10, special teams will come back out. And the punting unit getting a lot of practice here for the Bisons tonight. Clock remains in motion. 90 seconds remaining in this football game and a 3rd and 10. 44-7, the Cougars on top. They will head on the road for 2. Bringing a 1-1 record to Guelph. That'll be on Saturday, June 8th, the nighttime game, also under the lights up in the University of Guelph, 8 p.m. kickoff. Low snap. Still a good kick right to midfield. Now it hops to around the 45-yard line. And that's where the Cougars will take over, and most likely the final possession of this football game. I want to thank a lot of our sponsors, too, making this all possible, including the Dr. Svek Institute of Psychological Services, Chatham, London, Sarnia, Blenheim as well. Auto Tech Services. You can find Auto Tech on Byng Avenue in Chatham, 124 Byng. Bev Shreve of Royal LePage Piper Realty, bshreve.com. State Farm in Chatham, too. Scott Stanley, Brad Archer, Karen Bozazzi with State Farm. As the final few seconds tick off of this football game, they're just going to take one knee and away we go. APC Auto Parts Centers as well. I want to thank APC for being a big Cougar supporter as well. AutoPartsCenters.com if you want to check them out on the World Wide Web. And last, certainly not least, Enviro Clean Car and Dog Wash, with 2 locations in Chatham on Grant Avenue East and Park Avenue East in Chatham. CarAndDogWash.com with Dee and Jim and the rest of the folks making that all possible. That is it. A long game, a big win for the Chatham-Kent Cougars, overshadowed by a major injury for the Brantford Bisons. And again, we are thinking of Braden Preston, number 53, offensive lineman for the Bisons, after he was carted away on ambulance with about 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter, I should say. And creating about a 30-minute delay on the field. But really, football, from that point on, football was secondary.
Yeah, it certainly was, and it is unfortunate. The Cougars did have the game well in hand at that point, but a dark cloud over this game, unfortunately. But the Cougars, good for them. Big win here, a bounce back from that loss in Hamilton. So a 1-1 record now, and happy to win at home. I'm sure happy to be at home. And the players, nice chance to feel good about what they're doing. It's always tough coming off a big loss and a lopsided loss, this will certainly help their confidence and help in their growth and development as well. Get a good mindset and a good week of practicing.
So 1-0 on home turf here for the varsity squad of the Chatham-Kent Cougars. They're 1-1 overall in the season. 2 more road games before their next home game here, June 22nd. Love to see you here, June 22nd, 7:30 game time, as Forest City Thunderbirds, London folks, will be in town for the next varsity game here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. All 4 divisions. Make sure you keep an eye on it. It's chatham-kentcougars.com. With TV Coach Go, it's Mike Renier, Mike James. We'll be back with you again very, very shortly. Jeff Brooks on the camera. Again, chatham-kentcougars.com. Thanks for watching Chatham-Kent Cougars football with TV Coach Go.